To save Nina, I became blind. Everybody knows Nina loves me like crazy, cherishing me like I'm precious to her. When I miraculously regained my sight, the first thing I saw was two people tangled on the couch. I pretended not to see. I secretly poured out the milk filled with Nina's sleeping pills and laid awake all night listening to noises through the wall. After Nina got pregnant, someone asked her, "Aren't you scared Eric will find out?" Nina laughed softly. "He won't find out. And even if he does, he's blind. What's he gonna do? He'll have to stay by my side." A month later, I boarded a plane for a round-the-world trip. I heard later Nina was begging for any info on me, offering 10 grand for each piece. Standing at the bedroom door, I watched those figures on the couch and felt a shiver. The joy from regaining my sight clashed with the pain of betrayal. I didn't know whether to be happy or sad. Nina looked up, spotted me, her gaze calm. As her companion began to shout, she covered his mouth, giving him a warning look like she'd done it many times before. She slid off him, walking toward me with lingering desire in her eyes, gently asking, "Darling, why are you up? Nightmares?" Looking at Nina, who had just been tangled up with another guy and now showed concern as if nothing happened, made my stomach turn. Maybe my stare clued Nina in. She looked worried, waving her hand before my eyes. I quickly reverted to a blank stare, my head searching aimlessly as if looking for something. I thought I heard something screaming, so I came to check. Nina breathed a sigh of relief and shot a glare at the man on the sofa. She hugged my shoulders and said, "It must have been a stray cat from next door." As Nina spoke, the guy on the couch purred, flashing a flirty look at Nina and sticking out his tongue. I saw Nina's Adam's apple bob and mouthed silently. So shameless. Hurriedly, Nina pushed me into the bedroom. "Sweetie, let me get you some milk to help you sleep." She left and soon came back with a glass of milk. From a bottle on the table, she dropped 3 tablets into the milk. They were asopiclone, a sleep aid I relied on when I first lost my sight. Nina, worried about the side effects, had forbidden me from using them and would put me to sleep herself. Or so I thought. Nina handed me the cup, speaking softly, "Drink up and I'll help you sleep." Watching the pills disappear in the milk, I felt bitter inside. "I'd like a plum. Could you get me one?" Nina led me to the bed. "Okay, I'll get it for you. You drink the milk." Once Nina left, I poured the milk into a vase. When she returned, she saw me with an empty cup. She took it from my hand with a smile. "Darling, sleep now. No nightmares with me here." Nina lay beside me, trying to cuddle me, but the idea of her with another man made me feel sick. Pushed her away. "You're too warm. Give me space." She pouted, whining playfully, "Babe, you're so heartless. You use me as your heater in the cold, but now you push me away. I'm hurt." I didn't answer her, laying my head down. After a while, Nina got up and quietly left. Once she was gone, I opened my eyes. My heart felt squeezed. Moments later, I heard a voice outside the door. "Nina, weren't you with Eric? You thought of me still?" Her voice, hushed, came through. "Not your fault for being so tempting. Quiet, don't wake my love. The man didn't care. You drugged him. He won't wake." Nina chided, "I'll only harm my love this one time. Meet at the hotel next time." He begrudgingly agreed. "If you care about him, why seek me? Aren't you scared he'll find out?" A yelp cut him off, followed by Nina's low, teasing voice. "Jealous? Eric is my love. You're my sweet fling. Even if he hears something, I'll say it's just a cat. He can't see." It broke my heart. Because I was blind, Nina acted however she wanted. She assumed I'd never find out, or even if I did, I'd be helpless. She promised to care for me forever. But wasn't she just saying I couldn't leave her because I was blind? I stayed awake all night, my tears soaking the pillow. In the morning, dressed and ready, Nina entered the room. "Darling, you're up. I made your favorite tofu pudding and soup dumplings. Come have some." As Nina reached to embrace me, I thought of her holding someone else the same way last night, and the disgust returned. I instinctively pushed her away and went straight to the table. Too smoothly, like someone not blind. Turning back, I saw Nina watching me. nervous. She waved her hand before my face again. Darling, can you see? I paused for a moment and put down the steamed bun I had taken a bite of. No. Nina sighed with relief, holding my hand as she comforted me. It's okay. The doctor said there's a slim chance of recovery, but as long as there's a chance, I'll find the best doctors worldwide to treat you. When your eyesight gets better, I'll take you to see the beautiful landscapes, all right? I pulled my hand back, staying quiet, and continued eating. Nina then realized she had said something wrong. Sweetheart, even if you never recover, I'll always be by your side. I'll never abandon you in this lifetime. If I do, let the heavens strike me down. Let me lose you forever. After she said this, she nudged my arm. Honey, you know losing you would devastate me. So, this vow reflects my true feelings, witnessed by the heavens and the earth. I finally turned my head and said, all right, but betrayal equals abandonment for me. I noticed a fleeting guilty look in Nina's eyes, but she seemed confident I wouldn't find out, so she nodded. Don't worry, I, Nina, will never abandon or betray Eric in this lifetime. I smiled, but in my heart, I knew, Nina, you've already betrayed me. Even if the heavens won't punish you, I won't want you back. After dinner, Nina tidied up, and I got up to go back to the bedroom. Perhaps because my vision had just recovered, it was still a bit unstable, going from blurry to clear at times. Suddenly, I tripped over something, lost my balance, and fell to the ground. In that moment, my vision cleared up a lot, and I saw that what tripped me was a piece of cloth with lace. Instantly, I recognized it as a pair of underwear. A surge of nausea and heartache engulfed me. Even knowing Nina's betrayal didn't lessen the pain of seeing it. Nina heard the commotion and immediately came running over. When she saw what was at my feet, her expression tensed up. Reaching to grab it, she quickly kicked it aside in one swift motion. I deliberately asked, Nina, what's that? Looks like a piece of cloth. Nina cautiously helped me up, beads of sweat starting to form on her forehead. It's nothing, just an old rag. I made a sound of acknowledgement and didn't press further. As I sat on the sofa, there was a knock on the door. After a few seconds, a man in a black suit walked in. Seeing me, he came over right away. Eric, you're here too. I'm Nina's secretary, Charles. I left something here yesterday. Came to pick it up. Eric, I hope you don't mind. I recognized him as the guy from last night. So he was Nina's secretary? He had frequently come to our home, supposedly to work with Nina, spending hours in her study. Back then, I naively thought Nina was just busy with work, sending her fruit after Charles emerged. Their so-called work was probably more about what they were doing in bed. Did Nina really find it thrilling to have an affair with her secretary right in front of me? Otherwise, why would she repeatedly have Charles accompany her to work in the study? Seeing me play the fool, caring for her, asking if she was tired after finishing with another man. My heart felt like it was getting stabbed over and over. Nina had been betraying me countless times, right under my nose. My eyes suddenly felt dry, threatening tears, but I looked up, letting them roll back in, pretending nothing happened. It's fine, go ahead. Charles searched around, picked up the underwear Nina had kicked next to the trash. I found it. I'll leave Nina and Eric to it, won't disturb. He then told Nina with a knowing tone, Nina, don't forget about the important meeting at the company today. Nina replied in a low voice, I know. Don't come here without my permission in the future. I don't want anyone bothering my husband. Charles grudgingly agreed. Nina came over to me, nervously explained, Eric, he's just my secretary. Yesterday, he came over to deliver some documents and accidentally left something. He's not very attentive. I'll make sure to give him a good scolding. I acknowledged her. Nina saw I was in low spirits and added, Don't worry, I won't let anyone disturb us at home again. I have work at the company, so I'll head off. Rest well at home, and call me if you need anything. With that, she handed me a phone with Braille. After kissing my forehead, she turned and left. Once Nina was gone, I immediately made an appointment with the doctor. I wanted to check if my eyes truly recovered. Half an hour later, I had the examination report in hand at the hospital. The recovery looked good. normal life wouldn't be an issue. The occasional blurriness was just my eyes adapting, and the doctor had wrapped a thin layer of cloth around them. It allowed me to see normally while blocking some light like sunglasses. Knowing I could return to normal life made me overjoyed. Now that I could see, I wanted to explore all the amazing landscapes and travel the world, something I once wanted to do with Nina. But now I wanted to experience it all on my own. I booked a flight for a global trip a month later. After buying the ticket, I was about to leave the hospital when, passing the gynecology department, I spotted an unexpected sight. Charles was holding a test report, sticking his head to Nina's stomach with excitement. In an instant, it clicked. Nina was pregnant, with Charles's child no less. I overheard Charles asking, "Nina, aren't you afraid your husband will get mad if he finds out?" Nina shrugged it off. "No worries. I'll sweet-talk him later. He's blind. Even if he gets mad, what's he gonna do? He can't leave me." Hearing this, my heart ached. The illness I got saving her was now the reason she hurt me so recklessly. "Thankfully, my sight's back now, Nina. I can leave you." I turned and left, waiting for a cab outside the hospital. Nina suddenly ran up to me. "Eric, it is really you. What are you doing here?" Charles followed behind Nina, glaring at me with a smug look. "Eric, small world. Huh? Out here all alone? Or is it because of your eyes?" I cut him off. "My friend's with me. He just left for something. I'm just waiting for a cab." Nina sighed with relief and then hugged my shoulder. "Eric, Charles suddenly fainted at the office. I brought him here to check up. In a company that big, why would the boss personally take a secretary to the hospital?" Such an obvious lie, yet I didn't ask further, just nodded. "Eric, let me drive you home. I'm not comfortable with you taking a cab." Reluctantly, I got in the car at Nina's insistence, with Charles sitting behind. From the rearview mirror, I could see Charles's furious eyes. Halfway down the road, Charles suddenly said, "Nina, I really want one of those candied fruits from the street vendor. Can I go get some?" Nina was about to refuse when she suddenly stopped the car. "Eric, I remember you like them too. I'll get some for you." Before I could respond, she left. "Nina's pregnant," Charles said with a smug look. I stayed silent. "It's my kid, Eric. Nina always wanted a child. Too bad you couldn't give her one." She was as excited as a kid when she found out she was pregnant. I remained quiet, but Charles was not pleased with my lack of reaction. "Eric, Nina feels guilty for you. She doesn't love you. She loves me. What right do you have to keep holding on to the title of her husband?" I said calmly, "But she's never mentioned divorce. Without it, you're just the secret lover." Charles was furious, tossed a file at me, and then stormed out of the car. When Nina returned and didn't see Charles, she asked worriedly, "He's gone. Are you going to find him?" I answered plainly. Nina started the car. "Why would I? You're the most important." At home, Nina was constantly on the phone but got no response. I saw the contact name pop up as Charles. As she was about to leave, I handed over the file Charles had thrown at me. Inside was a divorce agreement. This was from Charles. "It's pretty important. Make sure you sign it tonight." Without even looking, Nina signed it. "Eric, I have an urgent matter at the office. I'll head out. Take care of yourself." I nodded, packed my belongings in the house, took what I needed, and tossed what I didn't. A month later, on the morning I was leaving, Nina called me to bring the papers to her office. An assistant would meet me. Moments later, when I came down with my suitcase, the assistant asked what it was for. I casually said, "Just mailing something to a friend." I placed the papers in Nina's office. As I was leaving, Charles bumped right into me. He challenged me with a sneer. "Eric, I can't believe you know Nina's carrying my kid and you're still shamelessly hanging around. Can't survive without her. Huh? You're pathetic." I was too tired to argue and planned to walk off. But he suddenly shoved me, knocking both of us over. Charles immediately squealed, and I saw Nina rushing over. "Nina, my back hurts. That old injury's acting up again." Nina quickly helped Charles up. "It's okay. I'll take you to the hospital." Without a glance at me, she hurried off. I got up on my own and left the company with my suitcase, everyone watching. Just before boarding the plane, Nina sent me a voice message. "Eric, I'll explain today when I get back. Trust me." She probably assumed my blindness meant I couldn't go anywhere, so she didn't even bother with a call, just a voice message. But this time, Nina, you're gonna be disappointed. I tossed my SIM card and walked toward the plane without looking back. On the other side, Nina finally lulled Charles to sleep. Her assistant rushed over with the files. "Nina, the partners are still waiting. This deal is crucial, we can't lose it." Nina rubbed her aching temples and instructed to proceed with the negotiation. At the hotel, she handed over the documents. A few minutes passed when her partner suddenly pulled out a different paper. "Nina, why is there a divorce agreement stuffed with this contract?" Nina was stunned. "What divorce papers? My husband's blind. It's impossible for us to be divorcing." The partner handed the papers back to Nina. "But Nina and Eric, isn't it you and your husband?" Nina quickly glanced through, then with shaking fingers, pulled out her phone, searching for Eric's number. "This must be a mistake. I never planned on divorcing my husband. I have something urgent to attend to, we'll discuss the deal next time." With that, Nina rushed out, dialing repeatedly. But all that came was call after call going unanswered. Nina floored the gas pedal, racing home. She burst into the bedroom, but Eric was nowhere to be found. Her heart felt empty. A wave of panic washed over her. She cautiously called out Eric's name, hoping he'd leap out from a corner and hold her tight. "Eric, honey, I messed up. Please don't play jokes on me. I'm sorry, you can yell or do whatever, just come out already." But the room was eerily quiet, only the sound of Nina's breathing. Nina stumbled into their bedroom, still no sign of Eric. Then she realized their usually cozy room was half empty. A lot of things were missing. After a few minutes, it hit her. Eric's stuff was gone, his clothes, jewelry, even his cherished collectibles gone, all of them. In that moment, Nina fully understood Eric was gone. Really gone. She forced herself to calm down. Eric couldn't see well. Where could he have gone? Maybe he was just hiding, upset. She asked her assistant to buy everything Eric loved, so when he came back, she could beg for forgiveness. With that thought, Nina managed to stay calm. Suddenly, her phone rang, and she eagerly answered. But it wasn't who she expected. It was Eric's eye doctor. "Nina, I tried calling Eric but couldn't reach him. Can you let me know when he can come in for a follow-up to see if his vision is fully restored?" Hearing this, Nina's eyes widened. Disbelief hit her. "What did you say? My husband's vision is restored? Since when?" The doctor, surprised by her angry tone, stammered, "A month ago. Eric came in saying his eyes suddenly worked the night before. We checked, and sure enough, he was okay. I wanted to let you know, but Eric wanted to surprise you himself." "Hasn't he told you?" Nina froze, her mind racing back. 1 month ago, when she felt unwell and went to the hospital, she found out she was pregnant. Her first thought then was to keep the baby, because back when Eric saved her life, he got injured and his health took a hit. The doctors said he might never recover. Even though she always said she didn't care and that companionship was the greatest happiness, deep down she wanted a complete family. Not just her. She knew Eric wanted that too. Every time she took Eric out, if he heard about someone getting better, he'd stop, look far into the distance, and she could see the longing and disappointment in his eyes. So when she found out she was pregnant, she was determined to have this child. But she forgot, to Eric it was a betrayal. Realizing this, she became frantic. Especially when she met Eric at the hospital entrance. Guilt just overwhelmed her. Asking about Eric's eyes, she was more nervous, almost relieved knowing his eyes weren't restored. At that time, Eric's eyes had probably already healed. Why didn't he tell her? Nina kept smacking her head, replaying the doctor's words. The doctor said Eric's vision restored suddenly the night before he came to the hospital. The night before, what was Nina doing? She was with Charles at home. Did Eric see everything? Did he realize she wasn't fully honest? That she hid things from him? Is that why he didn't tell her his eyes got better? Realizing this, Nina slapped herself, her heart aching. "Eric, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Looking back, she wished she could break her past self into pieces. She'd been so foolish, hurting the man she treasured most. Eric leaving after his sight returned crushed Nina. No wonder Eric said betrayal felt like abandonment. He'd planned to leave. Fate didn't strike her down, but her lover delivered the harshest blow. In the following days, Nina locked herself in the house, eating or drinking nothing, watching every video of Eric she had. Then she got a recording, where Charles's voice taunted Eric, saying, "Nina is pregnant with my child." Next was a security video showing Charles deliberately holding Eric back. Nina didn't even notice, and Eric picked himself up and left the company, left her. She listened to the recording and watched the video over and over, punishing herself each time. People from the company showed up multiple times, but she never responded. Finally, Charles brought firefighters to force the door open. They found Nina in a mess, clutching a shirt from who knows where, mumbling, "Eric, I know I was wrong. Please come back and see me. I shouldn't have betrayed you. I deserve any punishment. Just don't leave me." Charles pulled Nina back, his voice filled with anger. "Nina, what are you doing? Eric is gone. Even if you wait here forever, he won't come back." Nina was really triggered by this and pushed Charles away. "Don't talk nonsense, Eric wouldn't abandon me." Charles's face looked really uncomfortable. He stepped forward, grabbed Nina's hand, and put it over his heart. "Nina, Eric is gone, but you have me and our child. I want to stay with you. We can be a family, okay?" Nina looked at her belly and touched it. Just when Charles thought the child had brought Nina back to her senses, Nina suddenly said, "The child, yes, it's because of the child that Eric left me. If the child is gone, Eric will come back." Nina seemed to cling to this idea like a lifeline and grabbed Charles. "Let's go, get rid of the child. Without the child, my Eric will return." Charles was horrified and pushed Nina away. "Nina, you're crazy. This is our child. Weren't you always looking forward to it?" Nina shook her head. "No, it's not. I only want Eric's child. Your child doesn't deserve to be born." She took out her phone and, right in front of Charles, called the hospital to schedule an abortion. Charles was really scared by Nina's behavior. "Nina, this is my child. I won't let you harm it." Nina didn't care and said coldly, "If you still want to live in the city, you'd better listen to me. I'll give you some money, enough for you to live well for the rest of your life. Then you disappear from my sight. Otherwise, neither you nor your family will have a good ending." Faced with Nina's threat, Charles's eyes welled up with tears. "Nina, we've been together for so long. Do you have any real feelings for me at all?" Nina let out a cold laugh. "Just a plaything in bed. Do you think I would have genuine feelings? Behave and I won't treat you badly. But if you keep challenging my Eric, you deserve any punishment." Nina went to the hospital and had the abortion. But I didn't know any of this. I was on a plane and met a couple on their honeymoon. After finding out that we're going to the same place, we decided to go together. On the way, the guy was really attentive to his wife. The girl was sweet and lovely, clearly loved. Watching them, I couldn't help but think about the past. Once, Nina and I were a couple everyone envied. People said Nina had a blind husband, yet she wasn't bothered and took extra care of him. They said Nina deserved someone better. But no one knew my blindness was because I tried to save Nina. And I was once called a genius painter. But after losing my sight, I never picked up a brush again. Thinking about this, I watched the girl nestled in the guy's arms. I pulled out my old sketch pad from my suitcase. I began to draw their happiest moment. When the plane landed, I handed them the drawing. "Congratulations on your wedding. If you don't mind, let this be my gift to you." The girl was thrilled as she accepted it. "Wow, did you draw this? It's amazing, even better than some exhibitions I've seen, more lifelike." I smiled, appreciating her compliment. Before leaving, the girl unexpectedly handed me a bouquet of pink roses. "These are from my boyfriend. He told me that 21 pink roses mean everlasting love. I heard that if you hang flowers someone else gives you by your bed, it'll bring you luck and love. I hope you find your loved one soon." I thanked her sincerely and took the bouquet. I kept it safe. But I might never find love again in this life. I gave everything to love once, and now I have nothing left. I'm not looking to love someone again. I was sunbathing on the beach when a few girls kept glancing my way. I looked back, puzzled. The girls cautiously approached me. "Hello, sir, are you Eric?" I was a bit confused but nodded. "Yeah. How do you know me?" They squealed in excitement. "Ah, so you are Eric. I can't believe I'm seeing you in person." Their overwhelming excitement gave me an uneasy feeling. "How do you know me?" One of them took out her phone, showed me something trending back home, and handed it to me. "Eric, Nina has been frantically searching for you. She said she made you angry, and you left her. She held a press conference asking everyone online to help find her love. She said she's realized her mistakes and is begging for your forgiveness. She just hopes you'll look at her once." I frowned, feeling a bit puzzled and annoyed inside. She stepped out on someone else. Isn't my leaving just giving them the perfect spot? So why put on this poor act for everyone to see, making me look like the one who betrayed true feelings? Another girl chimed in, "Eric, married couples fight. Nina knows she was wrong. Why not go back? Nina's been going crazy trying to find you. She's even put out a reward online. Anyone with news about you can earn 100,000. Now everyone's looking for you." The other girls all agreed. Yeah, Nina truly loves you. Everyone can see that." Their words made it sound like I was the betrayer. I stood up, saying softly, "Sorry, I've divorced Nina. And the reason is Nina cheated, so I won't forgive her." The girls were stunned into silence. I added, "I don't want my life disturbed by past pain. Please don't tell Nina, okay? I can give you that reward money." They quickly shook their heads, refusing. "No need, at first we just felt sorry for how genuine Nina was. Didn't expect you left because she cheated. If that's true, then she deserves it. Don't worry, I won't give away your whereabouts." An hour after I got on the plane, Nina showed up at my hotel. Nina rushed to the front desk immediately, asking them to check Eric's information. The front desk told her Eric had already left an hour ago. Nina stumbled and fell to the ground. Almost, is this her punishment from above? Letting her miss her love by a hair's breadth? No, this is Eric's punishment for her. She betrayed him. A year later, Eric was on a small island by the sea. He had been there for 3 months. He opened a flower shop, filled with pink roses. A sign hung outside with a few words written on it. "May everyone meet a love that's true and unchanging." Year after year, day after day, he never heard anything about Nina again. Nina seemed to have vanished from life entirely. Not far from my flower shop, a small pastry shop opened. I never saw the owner, but their pastries tasted a lot like the ones I used to love. Year after year passed. I continued selling flowers every day, watching couples at the beach propose. May they take those pink roses and find a love that never changes. Nina's epilogue. When I found out Eric was here, I rushed over overnight. Watching him at the flower shop with that smile, handing out pink roses to every couple, I suddenly lost the courage to face him. I had searched for him for so long, and now I couldn't bring myself to go over. Instead, I opened a pastry shop not far from the flower shop. Every day, I make a treat that Eric likes, hoping he'll drop by to pick it up. But whenever he comes, I panic and run into the kitchen, stealing glances at him from the back. He seems really happy now, smiling more and more. So I decided just to watch him from afar, quietly being nearby. Decades later, I finally settled on this little island for good. At the end of my life, I feel like I can see the old Eric, eyes full of me, holding my hand, taking me back to our youth. The flower shop sign swings gently in the wind. May everyone find a love that's genuine and unchanging.